Hi, and welcome to another edition of Onside SA, where Budge and I are going to talk to you a bit about the Olympics. We're going to speak to Stevie B about what's happening from his neck of the woods with the transfers for the Premier League and in management positions. And of course, Budge, there is still some football about.
Yeah, I watched West Ham Reading last night, Paul. The friendly played at Reading. You can see the players aren't right. Eventually, the class told ended up being 3-0, but good to watch some football, Paul.
Yeah, I know you've got to watch some football. And let's clarify this. When is the Community Shield?
It's the week before the
So it'll be about
league
the
starts,
7th?
but 6th or 7th. It's a Sunday.
Sunday, so that's not that far off.
No,
eh?
it's a couple of weeks. It's the same weekend as the championship starts, Paul. So
Okay.
I think it's Friday the 6th. It'll be Sunday the 8th, the Charity Shield.
Okay, well, let's see if our man Stevie B's on the line, because we've got a lot of questions for Steve today. Steve, are you about?
I'm here. Good morning.
Morning, Steve.
Steve.
How are you? Sweltering.
Yeah, very much so. You know, we're just not used to this. I mean, you know, we complain about the weather and then we have a week of really hot weather and everyone's saying it's too hot. It won't last.
That bloody Blighty's a hell of a place. Steve, let's talk about what Budge has knocked up a few things about what's happening with the Premier League situation at the moment. And I get all my info on Spurs, but I don't know what's happening with the rest of the teams. Anything firstly with Fulham? You're the Fulham man.
Well, I mean, the main thing that's happened obviously is we now have a new head coach. They brought in Marco Silva, the ex sort of Watford and Everton manager, and his team. And as part of his team, which I guess Fulham fans are very excited about, we have the return of Luis Boamorti, who was a well-loved legend at the club and is back as one of the assistant coaches. So I think we were linked with a whole load of managers, but actually, I think a lot of people are generally quite excited about Marco Silva. He comes with a good pedigree, managed at the highest level, and outside of the UK, did very well. Obviously, hasn't managed in the Championship, but we're hoping that he can retain some of our better squad players and attract one or two players in. And the Calms, to be fair to them, the owner. They still have an eye on the future, and the idea is that we go back up again this year, and with a manager who's managing the Premier League.
What happened to the old manager?
He went to Bournemouth. Scott Parker went to Bournemouth.
Before, did he get bulleted, or was it a step up, Steve?
I think it was a sort of bit of by mutual consent. I think the club had been quite supportive of him, but I think there was a bit of a breakdown between him and the director of football, and also my understanding is he fell out with some of the players, including Mitrovic. So that obviously it was either one or the other, and I think the grand scheme of things, we need Mitrovic in the Championship. So.
Okay, well,
Steve, I can't say good luck because my Preston boys, we're trying to get in the playoffs, especially after beating Glasgow Celtic 1-0 last week. But as usual, we'll start off slowly. Steve, obviously on to the Premiership. Spurs have finally found a decent manager, in my opinion. So I'll ask Paul, happy or not, Paul?
I've jumped into being happy with a lot of managers over the years, and they've let me down. So I'm very guarded these days, Budge. I'm a battered boxer because I don't know who's coming up next. We've had the greats and we've had the newcomers. He started off beautifully at Wolves. He did a good job. I don't know many goalkeepers who are coaches, but he's really played some attacking football. Initially was a breath of fresh air, sort of stagnated later. But I think what's interesting, Budge, with Spurs this year is they've gone and got in Fabio, what's his name, Paratici. Now he is...
Paratici.
How do you say his name, Steve?
Fabio Paratici.
Paratici, okay, Paratici. Now, you know what he's gone and done? He's gone and got hold of the head of emerging talent from Everton, a guy called Chris Perkins, who made a name for himself at Derby, getting players in. And these two have now got some really big... Well, I don't think Perkins is involved in it, at the moment with Paraticics. In the players that we've got bandied about, the names of the players, some high-quality players. Really, the one guy, they want to do a swap with... who's
Lamella?
Yes, Lamela's going. Was it Villarreal? I think.
Yeah.
Gil or something. One of their strikers.
Yeah.
A young Brazilian they want.
Yeah, he's a nice player. Yeah.
They've got the Japanese defender. They've got those three hot of the press. But having said that, Nuno's played a couple of games now. We played Orient. We drew one each. He went with a completely young side, so young that I didn't know some of the names. But and I had to go look them up. Players like Mascom Pascozzi, Callum Cisse. I know Troy Parrott. He played. Niall John, Clark, Oliver Skip, Dane Scarlett, Tanganga played. Then we played Colchester this week, and he used 3-0. He brought in a bulk of youngsters again, and the players who shone was Song. Captain was Dyer, had all the young guys around him, and Song was he scored one, Ali scored one, and Moura scored with the header. So they were 3-0 up at half time. They were comfortable. So we've got a lot of names there, and as you say, we've got rid of Rose.
Yeah.
And we're going to lose Lamela, there's no doubt there.
I don't think he's a lost point.
It could be a new dawn, but we don't know, Budge.
Talk, it could be. If it doesn't work out, you'll be looking for the Parabats, Paul. Paratici, whatever his name is.
As I say, Paul, it's either a new dawn or a false dawn. But I think as well, key is going to be what happens with Harry Kane as well.
Yes.
Because, Nuno has made it clear he doesn't want to lose him, and the club don't want to lose him. So, Harry Kane is on vacation still. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens when he comes back.
Yeah, they're looking to... Ings's name was bandied about for a long time. I don't know if that's gone any further. Kane's a big fan of Ings.
Yeah.
And Kane had supported their endeavours to get him. But they've highlighted defensive flaws. A right back again. The thing will be going, Aurier. He's definitely going to go.
Doherty was his boy.
Yeah, Doherty was his boy, but Doherty started off well and then fell away. So they're saying they've got two other boys to pressure Doherty, two new names. The one is a very good player who doesn't go forward enough, and Lania or something. I was reading a big article on who they're looking at. This guy, funny enough, he doesn't keep his cards close to his chest. He tells people who he's going for.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't get them, he moves on to the next guy. He must be very good, this Fabio.
Well, let's hope so.
Let's hope so. That's my only hope, Steve. I'm with you. I'm hoping again.
Yeah, it's all about hope, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The neutral Spurs will have a good season if they keep Harry Kane. I trust Nuno. I think he's top notch. And if
Nuno, we trust.
If Jimenez had been available last year, Wolves would have been close again.
Yeah.
So
I think
he's good.
I know he wasn't Spurs' first, second, or third choice even, but I think ultimately, I think it's a good fit. So let's see.
Another good fit, I think, is Rafa Benitez going to Everton. I know a lot of my Evertonian mates don't agree. I don't know about his first signing, Steve. Andros Townsend from Crystal Palace. What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting. He's brought in Andros Townsend and Damari Gray.
Yeah.
My understanding, listening to a commentator up on Merseyside, was saying that he gets straight away that Everton's big strength up front is Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
And to get the best out of him, you need to get the ball, wide and into the box. So he's brought in Townsend and Damari Gray, who he feels are the sort of players that could, get down the line and get that ball across, because Calvert-Lewin is probably one of the best, if not the best, headers of the ball in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think he is the best. I think he's the best header.
I think it also says something. I think he's going to have a bit of a clear out. I think some of the luxury signings like the James Rodriguez,
definitely,
it didn't quite work out. Great.
He's too lightweight. Premier League, it's like La Salsa, Steve. If you're a lightweight midfielder, you don't survive.
So I think they'll try and have a bit of a clear out if they can, and bring some fresh blood in. But Benitez has done it. He's managed at the highest level.
He's an idiot.
I think it's. I think some of the
and the lowest, Newcastle.
They're just looking and thinking, he was ex-Liverpool, and But the bottom line is, you've got a player who's won the European Cup. He went to Real Madrid. I mean, he's got an incredible track record.
He won the Spanish league with Valencia of all teams. But he's just got to clear this. The problem I see with a lot of clubs, they've overpaid for mediocre players. Now they're trying to get rid of them, and people are just standing on the sideline. I'm not going to pay £300,000 a week for Griezmann. And there's too many. That's the problem in the Premiership.
Is he going to keep the Brazilian striker who always goes down? to play alongside.
Richarlison, well, that's the key.
Yeah, he has ability, and he can be a thorn in your side. But
the other Brazilian I heard is on his way, the little left footer. He plays obviously left. He's a winger. He plays
tiny
on the
guy, looks
small
like a
guy,
jockey,
good in the ball. And all the other guys, Alan, what are they going to do with him? They're signing from Napoli for big money. Are they going to keep him?
I mean, the bottom line is essentially, they signed all these players either, just before COVID or just after. I don't think any of these clubs realised. If they knew what was going to be coming, with the way of, they wouldn't have done it. And now, as you say, they're stuck with players. People, apart from the big few clubs who are prepared to still pay maybe silly money, there isn't the money out there in the game. And I think I think there'll be a lot of activity, but it's going to be mainly at much more reduced prices.
Yeah, it'll start at the top and work down. I was going to mention with Southampton, Ryan Bertrand. He was a youngster that played in the Champions League Cup final for Chelsea when no one had heard of him. I see he's gone to Leicester. I think that's a good move by Brendan Rodgers. Yeah,
I mean, obviously he's very experienced.
Yeah.
Southampton obviously felt that he was probably past his best there, but he's still, to me, he's still a decent player. So Brendan Rodgers is a shrewd operator, and he likes to have a mix of experience and youth.
What about Oliver Giroud? He's gone now.
Yeah, left Chelsea, finally got a club, AC Milan. Imagine him and Zlatan up front. Be a lot of movement.
He'll do fine. He's getting to the end of his career. He wants to play.
Yeah.
He's never let anybody down when he comes on, and I think it's a good move for him, really.
Yeah. And the other move would be interesting because Wolves only signed Portuguese players. I've watched the youngster. He was at Barcelona last year, Trincao. I see he's gone there. It'll be interesting to see how he plays. He's Portuguese. That'll be an interesting move.
Who's got the Wolves job now?
There's a guy, Bernard Law. He came from Benfica. I don't know how you pronounce it, Large or Large.
Yeah, Large, I think.
Yeah.
But you're right, obviously. But it'd be interesting, because obviously Nuno himself is going to probably be looking at one or two Portuguese players. But obviously with Jorge Mendes still so much involved at Wolves that it's end up with half the Portuguese national team there one day.
Yeah. Steve, the Olympic kicks off at 9:30 our time. Our local under-23, under-24 team play Japan. Have you had a look at some of the players that are playing in this Olympic competition?
Yeah, I'm a little bit sort of conflicted with some of this because Spain, who are favourites with Brazil, they're playing some of their their regular first-team players.
Yeah.
So, Brazil, if you take Brazil, you mentioned him earlier, Richarlison is playing. I don't
he's under 23.
He's a bit older than 23, I think.
Yeah.
24, but, the thing is, he's a regular in Brazil's first team. He doesn't need to be playing the Olympics. Yeah. What's the point? Unless they're desperate, they've got to win something. They've got other players that we know, Douglas Luiz, Martinelli of Arsenal, good young player. And then you look at Spain. Spain have got Pedri,
Dani Olmo,
Dani Alves. They've
Asensio.
got
almost good player.
Lots of players who are regular in their first team.
Yeah.
And for me, that's sort of either you're going to play like it's the World Cup and play your strongest team, or you pick your under 21 or under 21 teams across the board.
Yeah.
So I think it's there's going to be some mismatches there because it's going to be so one-sided, but. To me, it's either Spain or Brazil, unless there's a bit of a shock. Japan, I think, will shock teams because obviously they're quite keen because it's their home. It's their home, and they're putting out a strong side. But I think it's going to be Spain or Brazil.
The joke of the whole thing about this Olympic thing. Dani Alves is playing for Brazil. Now, Dani Alves must be 35, 36.
Yeah.
And he's playing in the Olympics.
It should be 23. If you're 24, you can't play. Why would 3 over?
No, it was 24 because it should have been last year, and those guys would have been available.
Okay, so anything over 24 shouldn't be allowed to play. Straightforward.
I agree, but there are 3 overage players. The goalkeeper that played for Spain, I think his name's Unai Simon, the guy that trapped the back pass. He's going to be Spain's goalkeeper. Pau Torres that United wanted, Eric Garcia, but they're all under 24, so that's fine. But when I see Asensio,
but there's maybe they should also make the rule and say, look, if you're a regular in your national first team, you shouldn't be playing. But it's look, other sports they do play their best players. So maybe football, but we don't. So if you're an Everton fan, Richarlison has gone. Let's say they go all the way. He's not going to come back. And maybe even have to quarantine for a bit.
Yeah.
He's not going to be available probably at the first week of the season.
Yeah.
So,
Who's Douglas Luiz?
He's the Aston Villa midfield player, the number 6. He's got the
yes,
nice
yes.
player. And you know that another thing with Liverpool stopped. Egypt wanted Mo Salah to play for them, and Liverpool said no.
Did they?
So I don't blame them,
Yeah.
especially if he's
that's the point.
overage.
Exactly, but overage. But it doesn't need to be playing the Olympics. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, he could get injured. I mean, they need Mo Salah fit, healthy, raring to go at the beginning of the season, not having taken part in quite hot temperatures with several games, over the space of a few days, and then to recover and travel back, he wouldn't be fit to start the season. So it's going to be bad enough next year when we have the World Cup and the season is decimated in the middle. So that's something that I think clubs are going to start having to sort of plan for that.
Yeah. The Lurker team, Ivory Coast, Steve. I've seen a few of their players. They've got 2 Man United guys in the team. Anyway, Steve, we'll go on to the Gold Cup. At least it is competing. Unfortunately for us here in South Africa, we can't get the games unless you do stream it. But the quarterfinals commence on Sunday night or Saturday evening our time. The first game up is Qatar versus El Salvador. Have you been following much of it, Steve?
I have. I mean, I've just been watching highlights. We're not getting it live, but and Qatar have done pretty well.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, obviously, it's a bit bizarre that they're taking part, but even so, they've actually acquitted themselves, and I think they've put a lot of effort into getting a squad which is not going to embarrass themselves at the World Cup.
Yeah.
I think that's the bottom line, and they've done well, and I think they're favourites to win this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll be too good for El Salvador.
Mexico.
Now Mexico, the favourites. Just having a look at this screen. Surely they've got to be too good for Honduras.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's Mexico. Always either 1 or 2 in this competition will definitely be too strong for Honduras. Honduras, over the years have put out some sort of game sides, but Mexico are going to be too strong.
Yeah, and a game it's a pity I wish it was on because Costa Rica have always done well at competitions. How do you see them going against Canada?
Yeah, no, I think they'll win. I mean, they had a good the other night, and I saw highlights of the crucial game, group game
against Jamaica.
And the winner basically would play Canada, and the loser plays the US. And Costa Rica played well. It's interesting. I mean, their captain, and he's 35 now, which I find hard to believe, is Brian Ruiz, who was in Fulham for a while.
Centre forward.
They've got Joel Campbell, who went to Arsenal after never really played much, but they've got some decent players. Keylor Navas is not playing now, but again, I think they should be favourites to win that.
Yeah, they had a good World Cup. Was it in Brazil? They got to the quarterfinals. I think the Dutch beat them on penalties.
Costa Rica did very well. I mean,
didn't they beat England, or did they draw with England?
They drew with England, but it didn't matter because they were through and we were out. So but they had a shock win at the beginning against Uruguay.
That's right.
And then beat Italy.
That's right. They beat Italy and Uruguay.
Yeah.
Who's that?
It was Costa Rica, the World Cup in Brazil.
Yes, correct.
Stephen, last but not least, I've had a look at the US team. They've got a lot of players playing in Europe, but none of them are playing. Jamaica.
No, it's homegrown only for the US. Which is, again, I think they've obviously got some strength in depth now because the MLS it's been going a while and they've got good young players coming through. So it's a good test for them. Jamaica, I think they'll probably be disappointed they lost that game to Costa Rica because I don't think they'll beat the US on US soil. Jamaica have got a reasonable squad. I mean, they've got sort of Michael Hector and Bobby De Cordova-Reid from Fulham out there playing. Leon Bailey, who some of the Premier League clubs are after.
Even my boy from Preston, our best player, Daniel Johnson.
Yeah, so they've got a decent squad, but I just think the US on home soil will be too strong.
How do you get into this tournament?
No, this is only for North American teams, but the 2 teams that are invited. It's like the Gold Cup.
Who are the 2 invited?
Well, Qatar got invited this year, and I don't know if any other team travelled, Steve.
No, I think Qatar were the only
So it's North America.
North America, And
North
then obviously
America.
South America, there's 10 teams.
America.
North
Yeah,
and
it's the
Central.
North and Central, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. That
All right. So,
qualifies
Steve, you're
that.
on the US, eh?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I think so. I think that, I mean, look, US-Mexico final, you know, is the big game. It's a shame we won't get it live here, but you know, I think that's, and it's always a bit feisty. You get huge crowds if they're allowed. I don't think they're huge crowds, but there will be crowds.
Yeah.
And depending where it is, it's always half full of Mexicans.
Yeah.
So, you know, we know are passionate about their football.
Yeah. We actually, in the 94 World Cup, we watched Mexico play Ireland. You couldn't believe how many Mexicans. Majority of them are small people too.
There were 6 mariachi bands.
Yeah, there were plenty of
6
bands
mariachi
outside the
bands in
stadium.
stand inside as well.
Steve, we go on to the Swedish Allsvenskan, which we always cover because this time of the league, the Scandinavian leagues take preference. Yeah. Thanks for doing a little bit of homework. But it kicks off on Saturday, 3 o'clock our time, with Malmo, who won in the Champions League last night, beating HJK Helsinki. Too good for them, Jolby?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they should be. I mean, you know, they're top of the table for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think that they should win that.
Yeah, won 5 of the last 6, should be too good. The only problem is, you know, with Europe, they will obviously rotate their squad, but they're too deep for everybody else. Now, Sirius played Degerfors. What have you dug up there?
I think it'll be close. I mean, Degerfors had a little bit more form, but Sirius, I think they're home favourites. The one thing I don't know, which I know that you're all over, is which teams there play on artificial pitches.
Yeah, well, Sirius do. Degerfors don't, yeah. But
so
Sirius lost. Sirius lost 5 of the last 7. Degerfors had a bit of a run, unbeaten in 4. But I want both teams to score there, Steve, because if ever there's a league where there's plenty of goals, this is it.
Okay.
Steve, Kalmar host Djurgårdens. Djurgårdens are second against a Kalmar team that are 9th. Any chance of an upset?
I'd be surprised. I mean, I think, you know, when Djurgårdens are on a decent run. I mean, only lost one all season. And in fact, you know, game in hand on Malmo would take them top if they won. So,
yes.
You know, I guess if you were looking for an away win, I think that would be it.
Yeah, the only problem is Djurgårdens play on an artificial pitch where Kalmar don't. I think it may be slightly easier if you go to a grass pitch as opposed to a grass team playing on an artificial. But they've been playing for years, so they should be used to it. But I agree. Kalmar second, going well. The only thing is, away from home, their form isn't the greatest, but Kalmar won 1 out of the last 8, so I agree it should be Djurgårdens. Now, 2 teams in good form. BK Häcken, who play in the Europa League tonight, have won 4 of the last 5. Elfsborg have won the last 4. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think I saw that. I mean, both you know, 2 of the most informed teams.
Yeah.
In fact, I think when I was looking, BK Häcken had lost 4 of their first few games.
Yeah, they've come right.
They've come strong, and they're at home. So I think that'd be close. I think there'll probably be goals, and you know, maybe sit on the fence and think that could be a draw, because I think they could just cancel each other out. But either a draw or possibly Elfsborg to win.
All right. Now here's my lurker for the weekend. Hammarby, who play in the Europa Conference League tonight, they play Norrköping. It's 5th against 6th. How do you see that going?
Yeah, again, close game. I mean, Hammarby have won their last couple. Norrköping, you know, form is a little bit indifferent.
Yeah.
Probably quite similar. Hammarby score quite a lot of goals. I think they're the league's top scorers. So I think there'll certainly be goals there, but they let in. So I think there could be a decent game and maybe go for a Hammarby win.
Yeah, that's the upset for me of the weekend. It's win and draw. I think I saw 9-10 Norrköping, just purely because the teams in the Conference League that need the money, so they'll be playing their best team tonight.
Yeah.
And they may have to make a few changes where Norrköping aren't in Europe. So I'm going for the away team. I'm chancing them win and draw. Now, Örebro having a nightmare. They've lost their last 5.
Yeah.
They've lost 3 of the last 4 at home against an ARK Stockholm team who are always going well. And they're not in Europe this year. I couldn't believe that when I analysed it. 7-10, Steve, good things?
Yeah, you'd be very surprised if Örebro got anything at all out of the game. I mean, they've, you know, but from what I've seen, the results, they've been handsomely beaten in recent weeks. So you'd expect AIK to go there and win.
All right. Now, Graham Potter, where he started, Östersunds. Yeah, they host a Halmstad team that drawn 5 of the last 6. How do you see it?
How did you go at Östersunds?
Yeah, they went from the 4th division.
but they've struggled, haven't they? I mean,
they
had a
struggled
bad
since.
season,
Yeah.
You know, one from bottom and showing no form at all. You know, so they're against a Helmsted's team who sort of look, from what I've seen, look as if they draw almost every week. So I think you're either looking at sort of a draw or an away win there.
Yeah, definitely. And last but not least, Warburg's Bois versus IFK Gothenburg. How do you see that?
Gothenburg, you know, one of those teams that are always there or thereabouts. Again, looking at the form, you know, they've drawn as many games as anybody this year. So a draw probably looks favourite there, although they've probably got a slightly better form. So to me, a draw or an away win.
Yeah, interesting. IFK Gothenburg, the centre forward, played for Sweden in the final. Marcus Berg, he came back last week and scored one. Now, I followed Warburg's Bois on Monday. They've got 7 South African boys in the squad. Obviously, Mark McCabe, a mate of ours who's been on our show, you know, he's got a whole lot of them. And I couldn't believe it. I saw a De Lange and a Moon. It was Bryce Moon's brother.
Oh, yeah.
I had a look because I played with their father, Patrick. But they're not a good team. They're struggling. And to me, IFK Gothenburg, 11-10, empty out. Steve, as always, pressure time on you. You were 2 weeks ago, you were on form. How do you see this week? Best bet and value bet, please.
Yeah, this is a tougher one for me. I think best bet I'm going to go for Qatar.
Who? Yeah, Qatar. Elvis's team. Yeah, Qatar.
Yeah. And I'm just going to go for Costa Rica. You know, I just think that they should win comfortably, and you know, probably, you know,
nothing to do with Brian Ruiz.
Yeah, I just think, you know, when I've watched them, and I just think after the World, you know, that World Cup run, I think, you know, they came to everyone. I mean, the only other time I think anyone can remember with Costa Rica was they beat Scotland in the World Cup many years ago, and they had the great. They had. Well, you probably remember him well, Budge, on his debut for Derby, Paolo Wanchop.
Yes.
He scored, he sort of ran half the length of the pitch to beat half the United team.
Scored a hat-trick against United. Yeah. That's right, Paolo Wanchop. I think he's manager now.
Who is he, Costa Rica?
Yeah, Costa Rica. He was the first guy.
Who did he leave Derby for? Newcastle, no? Did Paolo Wanchop?
No, I don't remember that.
I'm sure.
I remember he scored a hat-trick against United.
I remember he was a
gangly
centre forward. Yes, I remember.
Him and Kanu were a couple
Paolo
on the toes.
Wanchop. And he didn't go to Newcastle. Okay, I don't know why I thought that. Sorry, guys.
All right, Steve, last but not least, British Lions on Saturday in Cape Town. What's your call?
Sadly, I just think that the Springboks are going to be too strong. You know, I mean, they're tried and tested. They may not have played much, but you know, they're a team that have played together, and it's, you know, bar one or two, I get the impression it's going to be the World Cup winning side. You know, against the British Lions team that you just don't know what 15 really he's going to put out, and whether they've even all played together in a game yet. So, you know, for me, as I said before to you, I just hope that they're close, and whatever happens, it goes to a third game.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you know, there's no, you know, I think the interest for neutrals and Lions fans will sort of wane a bit. And I think it's a shame, obviously, playing without crowds. You know, it's going to lose, you know, no atmosphere, but, you know, it's good it's happening, but rather than not. So, you know, but
could have waited a year and got the mob back, but unfortunately they needed the money. But what can we do?
All right, Stevie, as always, thanks very much, pal.
All the best, Steve.
All the best, Steve.
See you next week.
Yeah,
Bye.
right. Yeah, but let's go your soccer.
Yeah,
sixes.
exotics for the weekend, Paul, coming through as usual. But the first one is the soccer six. You know, I've gone win and draw 5 games and chanced. Not a league start this week, Paul. Okay. You know, Belgium and so on. So we had to have a dip. So yeah, the first one, I've gone Beerschot, Wilrijk, win and draw at home against Cercle Bruges. I've gone Kortrijk, win and draw at home against newly promoted RFC Sarang. Russian game, Spartak Moscow, win and draw at Rubin Kazan. I'm going for St. Gallen, win and draw at Lausanne Sport. I'm chancing KV Oostende, to be too good for Sporting Charleroi at home. And I'm going Atlanta United, who, despite having a rough ride, don't get beat too often at home. So I'm chancing them to avoid defeat at home against Columbus Crew, 192. Our second soccer six is the Brazil-American one. I'm banking Palmeiras to be too good for Fluminense. I'm going the Chicago Fire to avoid defeat at home against Toronto FC. I'm banking Minnesota United to be too good for Portland Timbers. I don't see Nashville losing at home to Cincinnati. And going 2 fields to end off with. San Jose Earthquakes versus Houston Dynamo, and Real Salt Lake against Colorado Rapids, 2-1-6. On to our soccer 10. I'm going Chicago Fire, win and draw at home against Toronto. I'm banking Minnesota United to beat Portland Timbers. I'm going Nashville SC to avoid defeat at home against Cincinnati. I'm siding with Houston Dynamo to get a positive result against San Jose Earthquakes away from home. And likewise Colorado Rapids to avoid defeat at Real Salt Lake, 256. So the first page, we have St. Gallen, win and draw at Lausanne Sport. I'm going Ostenda, win and draw at home against Sporting Charleroi. I'm going Atlanta United, win and draw at home against Columbus Crew. And having 2 bankers, Gremio to beat America Monero and Palmeiras to be too good for Fluminense. Those 1 to 5 were the first leg of the soccer 10. On to our Budgie's bets for the weekend.
That's always interesting. Now, give me your thoughts here, Budge.
Paul, a lot of homework to try and get a few bets, but what can we do? Paul, started off with a Gold Cup quad. I'm going Qatar to beat El Salvador. I'm going Mexico to beat Honduras by more than 1 goal. And I think there'll be goals in the other 2 quarterfinals. Costa Rica, Canada, USA, Jamaica, 3,100 to 200. On to Sweden, where I found a treble. I'm going Norrköping to win or draw at Hammarby. I'm going ARK Stockholm to beat Örebro and over 2.5 total goals. And I'm going IFK Gothenburg to beat the South African boys of Varberg and both teams to score, 3,400 to 200. Our Brazilian quartet, I'm going Gremio to beat America Mineiro. I'm going Atletico Paranaense to beat Internacional. And I'm going both teams to score in the Fortaleza RB Bragantino and Cuiabá Corinthians, 3,500 to 200. And over 2.5 goals, I'm taking a chance in Sweden. I'm going Mjällby, Malmö, Sirius Degerfors, Häcken Elfsborg, Östersunds Halmstad, and Varberg IFK Gothenburg, 3,400 to 200. Team goals only. All these teams have to score over 1.5 goals or a minimum of 2. I'm going ARK, IFK Gothenburg, Palmeiras, and Atletico Mineiro, 2,000 to 200. And our Collis King, 6 or next. I'm going Malmö to beat Mjällby, ARK to beat Örebro. I'm going Shamrock Rovers to beat Galway United in the Irish Cup. I'm going Gremio to beat America Mineiro, Atletico Mineiro to beat Bahia, and sorry, I forgot Mexico to beat Honduras, 2,800 to 200.
Interesting. Tough getting
That's tough, Paul. Paul, you can only strength the schedule. You know, it's just so difficult. A lot of the players have been playing in these Europe Olympics, and you know, you don't really know. It's like Brazil, they're in the Copa Libertadores, which is a Champions League equivalent, and players are coming and going, and it's so hard to keep on contact.
Do they get crowds for these games?
Sweden, they get a few, Paul. I think they obviously limit what the people go in. COVID rules apply. And even Brazil, I don't think they play behind closed doors.
Gee, it's been so tough for everybody out there. But it's not that far away when the league starts again, the British Premier League.
It's coming home, Paul. It's coming home.
The British League's coming. Football's coming home. Yeah. The Cup's not.
Yeah, the Cup.
But that is all. Until next time, stay on side.